say this calls for action, and now, nip it in the bud.
Michelle Pfeiffer? The only true Catwoman is Julie Newmar, Lee Merriweather, or Eartha Kitt. And I didn't need molded plastic to improve my physique. Pure West.
Good morning, angels.
Good morning, Charlie.
I love it when a plan comes together.
It's time. Let's talk about music, movies, and mostly television from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. You know, the good stuff.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of The Good Stuff Live. My name is Dave Sundstrom, and I am your host this evening. And I am just tickled here to be with everybody. Looking at the chat, it looks like folks have already been, extremely engaged. And let's see, we've got Lance Chafin here. Welcome, Lance. Kenneth Wilkinson is in the house as well. Mr. Vintage, great to have you here. I'm a huge fan of Robin Williams as well. Let's see, we got Dolph Quick saying, yeah, there was a comment earlier. I lost it, but from Marty. Yeah, I don't know which movie we're referring to there. Oh, it was, what was that comment about? That was a comment where Robin Williams was in a movie for all of a day. And Howard the Duck. Howard the Duck. Yeah, it's a guilty pleasure of mine. But apparently he didn't stay in that movie. He left after just a couple of days worth of work. Let's see who else is here. Kenneth Wilkinson is here. I might have already said hello to Kenneth, but I'll say hello again. And who else do we have? Lots of talk between these fellers. Oh, wait, here's superfan John Collins. John, it's great to have you here as always. And of course, thank you for your support, for being a super fan. Let's see. Dolph Quick says, Lance, I think he takes his hands behind his ears, wiggles them, and says, Nanu, Nanu. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about Mork and Mindy here in just a bit. Who else is in the house so far? I can see that we have 45 people here, so I just need to scroll down a little more. Tracy Roth-Myers is in the house. Great to have you here as always, Tracy. And let's see. Who else is in the chat that I can say hello to? I thought I said saw my friend Justin, a.k.a. Braidwood Inn. He's here. Oh, and come on, Daryl. Mrs. Beasley says hello. That's a low blow. You know how I feel about Mrs. Beasley. Truthfully, all joking aside, my sister we used to love Family Affair, and my sister loved her Mrs. Beasley doll, but the thing kind of creeped me out a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. And so I would, on occasion, when occasion permitted, hide that doll from her just for a little, a respite, a little peace and quiet. Let's see who else is here. Cindy D is here. Welcome, Cindy. Good to have you as part of the live stream tonight. James 328, welcome. And let's see. Who else? Butch Schumpf. Good to have you here. And he says, good Wednesday evening, all. It is a nice Wednesday evening. I look so forward to these live streams on Wednesday. It's always great to just read everybody's comments and catch up with everybody. And let's see what we got here. We already have, look at this. We have got a super chat from Mr. Vintage. Thank you, good sir. Truly appreciated. I love, you know what? I love all the chats, but obviously I love those kinds of expressions of support. They're great. James Miller's here. Danny Staten's here. Spike Spikerson, another super fan, another member of the community. Welcome. Great to have you here as well. Terrell Bellinger's here. And did I miss anybody? I sure did. I missed Matt Sweeney. Good to have you here with us as well. Matt's a longtime member of the community. Let me see. But yeah, we got 3 super fans. Did I see a 4th super fan here? I think I saw Emily Miller. I'll get to her in just a second. Alo Duarte's here. Yep, expert panel and distinguished guests. Well, we'll introduce our distinguished guest in just a moment. Tom McCluskey's here. Mr. Vintage Art said hello to you, but hello again. Says, I love Robin Williams. Good morning, Vietnam. 1 hour photo, Insomnia, Hook, Mrs. Doubtfire, Dead Poets, Jumanji. Yeah, the list goes on. Mr. Led, great to have you here. Chris Budarakos, Josh Sings, always a treat to have you here. Just passing through. Let's see. What? Danny Staten says, sad news. Dusty Hill from ZZ Top passed away in South Carolina today. Yeah, holy cow, that is sad news. Boy, oh boy, did I love ZZ Top as a young adult. Still do, but I don't listen to them as much as I used to. But boy, were they so influential early on in MTV's, the infancy of MTV with it was the Eliminator album and the song Sharp Dressed Man. Great, great stuff. Hey, Emily Miller, there's our 4th super fan. I thought I saw you here. Great to have you with us. Lamont Bradford's here. The man known only as John is here as well. Let's see. I said hi to James 328, but I'm going to say hi again. TJ921 Abel, welcome. Who said Mrs. Beasley was adorable? Well, where was that? It flew by so fast. Dolph Quick, that is too kind. A super chat, or is that a super sticker? I can't tell. But either way, that expression of support, truly appreciated. Thank you so much. Let's see, we got 27 thumbs up and 36 in the chat. Great to have everyone here, and good to have you here, Citizen Knot. Thanks for the update. James 328 agrees that Mrs. Beasley was creepy. I was going to say crazy, and creepy is crazy. Let's see. There it is. TJ921 Abel. What are you talking about? That doll was not adorable unless your name was Buffy or Valerie Sundstrom. All right. So let's see. Again, thanks to Dolph. I got to, that was way too kind of you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you and appreciate your engagement. Tom McCluskey says, before Robin was very big, he lived in Napa, California. My girlfriend used to tell me she would watch Robin dress up as an old lady and walk around the neighborhood with a cane. That is awesome. I love that. HMS Rules 11, welcome. Good to have you here. Have I gotten everybody? I haven't. Stardust Memories, awesome to have you here as well. Yeah, R.I.P. Dusty. R.I.P. Dusty. I'm all caught up. I might have missed somebody, and if I did, my sincerest apologies. Lots going on in the chat, and I certainly want to recognize folks when they pop in. Hey, there's Georgia Ayers. Great to have you here. Loved Mrs. Doubtfire as well. We'll talk in a few minutes about favorite. I don't know if it's favorite Robin Williams movies, because the survey I gave everybody was the top 5, your favorite Robin Williams movie as listed in the top 5 IMDb. So IMDb's top 5 list, I should say. And a lot of the favorites weren't there, but we will talk about those movies and see which one was your favorite. Josh Singh says he's not going to stick around tonight because he's got to pack for a trip. Thank you so much. Yeah, it is a bit of a sad live stream, but you know what? There's a lot of other. The man was so influential, so kind, so good, so funny that it's definitely worthy of a live stream. Another guy in Tennessee, hello, good to have you here. And Mercury Rising, thanks for popping in. Good to have you here with us for as long as you can stay. Terrell says, always thought Mrs. Beasley was the creepiest doll in the world, at least until Chucky came along. I say she's creepier than Chucky, but everybody has their own opinion about that. I do know that there are those that just love Mrs. Beasley, and I totally respect that. I do. I totally respect that. All right, folks. So here we go. Let's do this. Let's pop that on over like that. And then let me bring on, we've got Ian C. here with us tonight. Let me get you off mute, my friend. And
hey,
it's good to have you here. Welcome.
It's good to be here. I'm glad to be here and talk about such a great comedic actor, Robin Williams.
Yeah,
big influence on me,
Absolutely. One of my favorite actors of all time. So, hey, before we get going too far, I've got to thank John Collins for his one and only super chat of the evening. John. He said, good choice of Robin Williams, such a versatile actor. My favorite films of his are Awakenings, Patch Adams, Good Morning Vietnam, and his appearance on Inside the Actor Studio. Now, I haven't seen that appearance. I've seen everything else, but I haven't seen his appearance on Inside the Actor Studio. So John, super fan John Collins, if you would like to chat or add another chat with a little additional context about Inside the Actors Studio, you've got my curiosity piqued a little bit. All right. So, Ian, welcome. Great to have you here. Talk to me about can you think back to your first memory of Robin Williams?
Oh yeah, for sure. It was Mork and Mindy. I mean, that was on in the late 70s, and the late 70s is when I was just starting to get into television and on regularly at night, and I loved it. I mean, I thought it was so funny, and it really reached an audience for children. I mean, I know my mom probably thought it was a little bit silly, and maybe some adults did, but I mean, well, I could have been like 5 or 6 years old when it came out or something like that, and just cracking up. Huge fan. Loved him on Mork and Mindy. I loved him in most everything he did, of course. And but Mork and Mindy was when I first was like, oh yeah, right, that guy right there, Nanu. And I actually had a Mork doll.
Oh,
I
did you really?
with
Oh
the
my
egg.
goodness.
Yes, and I had so
I
many
remember
things
that.
that I don't need. They're gone now. They're so gone. I wish I would have kept that one, but I'm sure that would have been worth some money to have that Mork doll with the egg.
Oh yeah, I remember that. You know what? God bless our mothers. I'm not going to blame you. I bet your mom was cleaning out your room and she just threw that out or gave it to the Goodwill or something.
Or it got lost in a move or something like that.
Yeah.
3 moves is as good as a fire.
It sure is. Yeah.
It doesn't. You don't open it after 3 moves, then I think that was kind of the rule. It got thrown away after 3 moves, or given to the Goodwill or something like that.
Right. So I remember my first memory of Robin Williams is close to that. It's in the character of Mork, but I was watching Happy Days on Tuesday night when, Mork made his first appearance on that show. And that's a really, for me, that was a moment. There are a handful of moments of Happy Days. There was the first couple seasons were just phenomenal of that show before they started filming in a studio in front of a live audience. But after that appearance of Robin Williams was one of the true highlights. And it was at that point where I just really felt like Happy Days was clicking on all cylinders. Whatever characters they introduced, they were going to be fun. But I don't think there was ever a character like Mork from Mork. It was, while I'm sure he was written in a certain way, I got to believe that a lot of that stuff that we saw in Happy Days and then later on in the television show Mork and Mindy, that was Robin Williams. That was a lot of
Williams. Robin Williams brought Robin Williams to Mork, the character, for sure.
Yeah.
So did he appear on Happy Days and then they did a show after that? That was so popular?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I thought that was the case, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those. It was a sequence, interestingly enough, where I'm trying to remember. Fonzie did battle with Mork from Ork, and it was a dream-like sequence where you didn't really know if it happened or not. But interestingly, I did a video not too long ago on Linda Goodfriend, and I found out, I didn't know this until I had made the video and did the research on Linda, who played Richie Cunningham's wife in Happy Days in those later seasons. She was actually in an actor's workshop, actor's comedic type workshop where they would do sketch and improv with Robin Williams. And it was her suggestion to bring Robin Williams on board to Happy Days. She suggested to Gary Marshall, hey, there's this guy that is an absolute nutcase. You've got to get him in some role, one role or another. And Mork from Ork was, what a perfect role for him. Hey,
Right.
gotta quickly, before we go too far, I gotta thank James Mitchell for his support via Super Chat. James is also a super fan, so he's kind of doubling up here, but I appreciate it. That's all I can say. It's too kind is really what I can say. It's too kind, but thank you. And he says, my favorite RW film moment is the scene with Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting regarding his wife's tooting in her sleep. Holy cow, I'd completely forgotten about that. Did you see Good Will Hunting?
Oh yeah, it was one of my favorite shows when it came out. I got a couple people saying hi to me, and so if I go like this, that's me saying hi to in the chat there. So
Awesome.
I'm not gonna interrupt the host. Okay, so I want everybody to know that I see you and I love you all and thank you for saying hi to me. It really warms my heart.
Hey,
And
before we get going too far, speaking of, and it sounds like you've got something you want to say, and I'll let you say it, but I do want you to also introduce yourself to those people that are new to the live stream.
Oh yeah, I'm ENC and I run a channel called Retro Serial right here on YouTube. It's also a podcast. So if you're out there driving around, you want to listen to a podcast, you want to hear about growing up, Generation X, that's my main shtick. Mostly it's arts and entertainment. A few times I dip into some different things. What it's like growing up deaf during Generation X, marriage therapy during Generation X. But for the most part, it's arts and entertainment. And we just did live stream Monday, which was a lot of fun because we got to talk about movies that are horrible, but we liked them anyway. And that was such a fun topic to talk about. Movies and television shows that the critics were like, "Oh, that's a horrible show," but you kind of were afraid to tell your friends that you liked them. But anyway, yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then I did three three movies about children, are not about children, for
Children's
children.
movies, yes.
Yes, that were maybe disturbing, whatever. But I wanted to.
Gremlins is the one that I think was, it's we watched it, rewatched it not too long ago, and it wasn't as disturbing, but I can see little kids going to that one and being kind of just a little bit creeped out by that one.
Yeah, I'm going to do a part 2 because I've gotten all kinds of suggestions and I forgot of movies. I forgot Labyrinth, another one that was like, I know kids watched it, but man, talk about demonic,
Right.
That was crazy.
Yeah, that was so. And I love that video, by the way. I actually, if I haven't, did I share that in my community channel? If I did a section, if I haven't, I will.
Okay.
Because folks should go back and watch that one. It's only 10 minutes long. It's a lot of fun. I will say this regarding the other one. I haven't watched it yet, but it sounds awesome. I'm actually not going to watch it. That's going to be my podcast that I listen to as I go to sleep tonight. That I can't wait to hear what your guilty pleasures are. I certainly have my fair share of movies that, I kind of hold my head a little bit low when I tell people how much I absolutely love those films.
I want to do a live stream over on my channel with you one of these nights. And the one I'm holding out on this one. Okay. I'm holding out on this topic till I can actually book you. And that is, I want to do the lessons we learned from television.
Oh,
I want to do that one, but I want you to be on that one because I think you'd be a wealth of information as far as that's concerned.
Well, yeah, TV, right? It taught us so much.
Right.
It was the one-eyed babysitter, but more than that, it's where we kind of learned, aside from our parents, and they certainly school and all the social interactions, but it's one of the main places where we learned how to comport as human beings, and we learned what was right and what was wrong. And
right,
I think people sometimes they underplay the value for good. Because it can be a waste of time, right? Just watch the Kardashians. But holy cow! Let's put this up. Speaking of, Danny Staten, my good friend Danny Staten. Love you, brother. Love you. Be careful out there as you're in your quest for Bigfoot. Says, hey, Dave, your brother Stephen just put up a video on Pam Anderson. The thumbnail alone should get 1 million views. Laugh out loud. Well, I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see that. Well, it's interesting. We were actually talking about that. Steve and I actually spent the weekend in Moab with our families, and we were talking about home improvement. And of course, Pamela Anderson got her start in home improvement. And I told him that I did not know why she left that show. And so he said, you know what? Holy cow. Maybe that would be a good video if maybe other people don't know why she left home improvement. So I suspect that's the topic of that video. We'll see.
So I have a question for you, Dave.
Yeah.
So how old were you when the approximately anyway, when Mork and Mindy came out, and when it was on, when the character appeared on Happy Days?
It was probably 11 or 12 when he appeared on Happy Days, probably 12 and probably 13-ish when he got his own show. So as somebody in that age bracket, did you feel like it was too goofy or silly, or did you love it? No, loved it. And
yeah,
you know what? There's nothing for me that was too goofy or silly. I love the sillier a show was back then, the more I enjoyed it. So I was big into Saturday morning cartoons, right?
Right.
And all of I love the superhero stuff and the sci-fi, but I also love the absolute just silly stuff. And when they merged, like in the primetime series Quark with Richard Benjamin, that only lasted like 8 or 9 episodes in 77, 78, that was my real sweet spot. I love the silliness of that show, which is probably why I really like the Orville now and can't wait for the 3rd season of the Seth MacFarlane's tribute to Star Trek to come back on the air. Star Trek The Next Generation really is what it's a tribute to.
Yeah.
Let's see. While we are here, let's see. The Josh Sings said, I still love Tom and Jerry too, Tracy. The chat is moving so fast, I missed. The Josh Singh says, wouldn't it be great? Dave could do a surprise live stream. I don't know what's going on there, but I got to go back and read what Emily's offering up here. But we will find out. And Emily, you're on the hook for whatever that was. So how about you? Let me throw that question right back at you. Did you enjoy the silliness of Mork and Mindy, or were you too young to really enjoy the silliness?
No, I enjoyed it. That's what drew me into it. But I just kind of wondered sometimes I wonder how it affects older people. Not that you're older, but like older kids and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I know that it had a different effect on adults. I know as I recall, my mom was not a fan because it was too silly. So I just didn't know, what age it starts to get campy or something like that, or if it does get campy.
Yeah, I think that there probably were some folks where it just gets too silly. I feel it's kind of sad when you get to that point where you can't enjoy the absolute, silly at any age, whether you're, 10, 15, or 55. You've got to be able to just kick back and just let loose and enjoy. We watched Pee-wee's Big Holiday the other day while we were in Moab, Steve and I. And it is a dumb movie. I mean, it's so silly, so dumb, as only Pee Wee Herman or Ed Grimley, that kind of silliness. And quite frankly, it was one of those things where a lot of folks would probably turn it off because it's just too silly. But
right.
I think you got to just, even if it becomes like, you have that little voice telling you that you're too old for that stuff, you've got to fight it. You've got to fight it and embrace the silliness.
Right, yeah.
Hey, there was John Collins got back to us. He says the Inside the Actor studio appearance was 2-hour show. It was the highest rated episode. That's awesome. I don't know if there was more on that other than I'm going to have to go check it out. Thank you so much. And John asked another great question. And I wanted to get to it, and I can't find it in the chat now, but I saw it scrolling by. And he was asked, was I ever offended by his stand-up? And that's a really good question. As a matter of fact, we had this conversation the other day when you were preparing for stand-up podcast. Was it a podcast or a live stream you were doing, Ian?
It was a podcast. We did it on a podcast.
And did you do that? Well, you did that with Thrash Pondo. I heard part of it, if I remember.
Yes. Right. Yeah. We just kind of went through, what defined the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and our favorite comedians of then and today. I know Robin Williams got in a little trouble with that because he didn't have any scripts, and so he would get up and start doing stand-up, and some of the material was just out of his own head. But unfortunately, and it is documented, he did use other people's materials and had to write some checks as a result of that. Got himself into some trouble. But hey, oh well. Yeah. Overall, mostly his original material, and I could understand, getting up there and then freezing, and then well, I remember him saying this, so I'll say it my Robin Williams way.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, he probably said it in a more funny way than whoever originated it. But right. I had heard that too. I remember that. It's hard to hold that against someone, particularly when they are up and responsible. Just you have a crowd staring at you, and you're kind of winging it. And as Robin Williams did so often. Plus, it's interesting. There are many times where I bet he thought he was telling something that he actually was coming up with, where he didn't realize that he had actually heard it years ago or been influenced by something. It's just hard with that kind of stuff. But going back to the question about vulgarity in stand-up, was I offended? The answer to that is no. But I do have a follow-up, and I'd like your opinion on this as well, Ian. Which is I prefer when comedians like Jerry Seinfeld and others find Jim Gaffigan's a great example these days, find a way to be funny without the vulgarity. So no, I wasn't offended, and yes, I laughed. Do I have a preference? And that is, the comedians that choose to, and I think it's a tougher road to hoe. We talk about, how tough it was for Robin Williams getting up there and doing stand-up on the fly, but I think it's even harder sometimes because the vulgarities are an easy laugh. They're a cheap and easy laugh. And folks that can get up there and make people laugh without going down that path, I just think that's a real talent. They're few and far between.
They are. They certainly are. I mean, like you mentioned a couple of them already. Also, Brian Regan's another one. And another one that's out today is Nate Bargatze. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to listen to him, but he's a clean comedian, and you won't miss it. You won't miss the vulgarity because it's just so funny. And a lot of these people, especially like Brian Regan and Jim Gaffigan, I mean, you're not like going, man, where's the vulgarity? That joke would have been better with, with the F word or something. That would have been. Nobody's saying that when you're listening to these guys and you're laughing. If you watch comedy, you want funny, and whether or not they drop an F-bomb here or there, I'm not going to turn it off if they do. But when it's just a string of cuss words and there's no joke, then or if it's something really kind of, I don't know, indecent, so to speak. And we all have our own line where we draw that indecency. But I mean, if it just starts getting that and it's not funny, after a while, it wears on me for sure.
I get weary as well. Again, not offended, but just weary of it. A couple things that worth mentioning. Tom McCluskey, my friend, the hungry jerk, Tom, said that Jackie Mason died yesterday. Was unaware of that, so thank you for the heads up. There's also conversation here going on in the chat around Jonathan Winters, who joined Mork and Mindy during the 4th season as their child. I don't know if you remember that, Ian.
I do. It's about where I dropped out, actually.
Right. Yeah,
I think about where I dropped out. Yeah. Yep.
I think a lot of folks did. And Jonathan Winters was very funny, but I think that it was too much or too little, too late in terms of keeping that show fresh. And I really wonder if that show maybe it just wasn't meant to run any longer. That I think like Batman, the 1966 Adam West Burt Ward Batman TV series. Ran for 2.5 seasons, really 3 seasons, but the first season was a mid-season replacement coming in January. And I wonder if there was talk about having NBC pick it up from ABC and running a 4th season. Unfortunately, they didn't because the Batcave had been destroyed and it would be too costly to rebuild it. But there are shows like Batman, and I believe like Mork and Mindy, that maybe 3-ish seasons is the right number. It's like a piece of candy, right? You have too much of it, and you're like, I'm done. And
we get tired of the stories that it gets too tropey sometimes, and they're great at the beginning. And John Ritter talked about this when he said he knew it was time to in Three's Company, when they hid a puppy from Mr. Roper, and in the last season they hid a cat from Mr. Furley, and they're like, this has gone on too long. This is done. And that happens. And it happens, it's so individual though. It's so individual when it happens in shows. For some shows, they can go 5-6 seasons and it's great. For some shows, it's like 2 or 3 seasons. That's how I felt about The Big Bang Theory. I mean, after about season 4, I get tired of, Penny doesn't get it. Leonard says something stupid. Sheldon says something smart. And it's just kind of that same, the same thing over and over again. So it's very interesting, because I can't say shows should stop after season 2 or season 3 or it really depends on the show.
It varies, but when it happens, for example, Andy Griffith should have stopped when they were done with those first 5 seasons, when Andy planned on stopping, when Don Knotts was off to do his movies. That's when that show should have ended. Now, the other seasons were fine. The other remaining 3 seasons were fine, but they didn't do anything to make that legacy better. And quite frankly, there are lots of folks that just won't watch those color seasons, which were the 6th, 7th, and 8th seasons of that show. So you're right. It's very unique and individual for each show. I've got to point out that superfan Emily Miller, there's a conversation. I don't know how they got here. I don't know how they got there, but
I don't know.
Started talking about one of my favorite movies, starring Mark Harmon and Kirstie Alley and a young Courtney Thorne Smith, which is Summer School. Very funny movie. Directed by Carl Reiner, Rob Reiner's father, a very funny man who had a lot to do with the success of the Dick Van Dyke Show. And I believe the music in Summer School was by a certain Danny Elfman, if you are a fan of Oingo Boingo and his work. So really great. Just love it. Don't know what you guys were talking about there, but just love it. And what a great first date movie, Emily. All right, so hey, here we are. We're about at the halfway point, Ian, and it feels like it's time for a commercial message. Let's do a commercial message, and then I'll be right back, or we'll be right back.
Excuse me, we're thinking of changing our phones around.
Any rooms in particular?
I'm not sure. You see, we're redecorating.
Well, for a bedroom, we have this princess phone. Lights in the dark. And for a kitchen, we usually recommend a wall phone like this trim line.
Gee, that is handy.
People of us.
And for a living room or den, we have a number of different styles.
Good evening.
And if you're looking for a real conversation piece, they're the design line phones.
Illinois Bell has telephones in a variety of styles and colors. And by getting a Bell phone, you can be sure of the quality. Plus repair service if you need it, usually within 24 hours. To get the phones that suit you best, call your Illinois Bell service representative or take them home from your nearest phone center store.
Hello, Mickey.
Yeah?
Quack, quack.
Thursday, call me Maury.
What have I done? I created an earthling.
It's Mork's last night on Earth, unless a 700-year-old kid from Mork,
Nini.
That's Nanu Nani.
can bring back the Mork. Don't miss the special 1-hour season premiere of Mork and Mindy.
The Spy Who Loved Philosophy, starring Roger Moore, Barbara Bach, and Kurt Jurgens, will continue in a moment.
Wednesday on 8 is Enough, Abby finally becomes a teacher and gets a lesson in student violence. Ladies and gentlemen, Robin Williams.
Tangy, let's all get down, get funky. It's very strange to have so many mutants in one place. You know, life's like a big fan, and sometimes the caca hits it. Wow, reality, what a concept.
Reality, what a concept. Robin Williams live on Casablanca Records.
Play this record, it won't hurt you.
Now available where? At the warehouse, everywhere.
Touchstone Pictures. John Keating wasn't your average English teacher.
I like Byron. I give him a 42, but I can't dance to him.
To the administration, he was a rebel.
I'm hearing rumors about some unorthodox teaching methods.
To parents, he was a threat.
Who put you up to it? Was it this Mr. Keating?
But to his students, he was an inspiration.
Seize the day. I'm gonna do it!
That made their lives extraordinary. Robin Williams, Dead Poet Society, rated PG.
Now playing Atco Westwood Cinerama Dome, Hollywood starts Friday citywide.
All right, Ian, we are back, and let's do this. Let's move forward. So speaking of dead poets, Terrell says that Dead Poets broke his heart. Mine too. Quite a movie. I threw a survey out, and I said, what is your favorite Robin Williams movie? And YouTube only allows 5 choices. Wish they would allow us a few more. But what I did was I went out to IMDb, and I looked at the top 5 Robin Williams movies as rated by all viewers, right? You can go into IMDb and you can rate movies. And I think it's a 5-star system. And so these were the 5 movies that were at the very top. Now, they're not my top choices. Let's be clear. These are not the ones that I would... These aren't the ones that I would probably have on my top 5. But they are apparently, at least in terms of critical, in terms of the reviews and critics' praise, these are your top 5 movies. And then I asked, of these 5, which one would be your favorite? So coming in, I got 1,200 votes. 1.2K votes, and coming in at in the 5th spot is The Fisher King. So have you seen The Fisher King, Ian?
That was my favorite out of them.
Oh, really?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I liked the only one on there that I didn't really care for is Aladdin.
Oh, yeah.
But out of all of them, the one that I liked the most was The Fisher. Oh, I saw that in the theater. That was very impactful on me. And plus I have mental illness that runs in our family. And so it was very impactful for me to watch that show.
Yeah, I didn't see it in the theater, but I did like it and I did enjoy it. But I probably would have, it came in last. It came in at 7% of the votes. That's probably, I don't know, it would be that between that one and Awakenings, which was the 4th place one, where it's not that they were bad movies, and they weren't. They were good movies. And I can see why Fisher King would be your favorite. And it's not just your favorite. I've seen other folks like Scarlet Red Magic is saying that it's a movie she loves. Nick Mamonis says that Fisher King was good but sad. So, you know, and I thought Awakenings had a similar thing. It was good, but ultimately the ending was a bit sad. It was also, if I remember right, I'm not sure if it was Penny Marshall's directorial debut or not, but it was one of her early films, and where she really demonstrated that she had the skills to not only be a great actress, but a great director as well. So 4th place for Awakenings with 10% of the vote. Any idea which one came in 3rd? Ian, you want to give it a guess?
Dead Poets Society?
No, Good Will Hunting.
Oh, Good Will Hunting.
21% of the vote. So we got 2 others with more. Great movie. We've talked a little bit about it. Written, if I remember right, by Damon and Affleck. Ben Affleck starred in it. And this was one of those movies where I think it was one of the first ones where we we'd seen Williams in comedic and dramatic roles, but boy, did he just shine in his role in this movie. Coming in second place is the one I would not have guessed. I really thought Dead Poets would come in first place, but with 27% of the votes, Dead Poets Society came in second place, which means that 34% of you said that of those movies, of those 5 movies there, Aladdin was your favorite. And it's hard to beat that because it's just a fun movie. It's really not. I mean, it's one of those things where you don't see Robin Williams, but boy, do you see Robin Williams through his voice and through his improvisation and his just talent. And, you know, I've heard stories how the animators just kind of waited for him to do his vocal thing so that then they could animate on top of his vocal work, which is just a crazy way to think about making an animated movie, but it certainly worked and certainly worked very well.
I can see why people would like that one. I'm an odd duck on that one. I would have put almost anything in there except for Aladdin. I would have put like Patch Adams or Mrs. Doubtfire. I thought Mrs. Doubtfire was hilarious, but I mean, he did a lot of voices over that. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and I didn't dislike it. And I think of over all the Robin Williams movies, really almost anything could have been in there. Loved Patch Adams, and Mrs. Doubtfire was great as well. So
Good Morning Vietnam and
Good Morning Vietnam. What a great show.
Yeah, and one of my all-time favorites, an early movie with Robin Williams in it, was, Lance points it out, Popeye. I love Popeye. He was just so good in that movie, and it broke my heart that it wasn't in the top 5, although I knew it wouldn't be. I knew that the critical reception on that movie wasn't what it needed to be one of the top 5 movies, but it would be in my top 5 list along with a couple of those that you mentioned. And we haven't even talked about Jumanji or The World According to Garp. Just so Moscow, is it Moscow Across the Hudson or On the Hudson?
Moscow, I think it's On the Hudson. Yeah.
Another fun movie that I enjoyed with him early on. Just so many. Hook. How can I forget Hook? So good.
Really, almost anything could have gone in there Yeah.
Zen Wayne threw a super chat my way. Thank you so much for the support, Zen Wayne. Really, really appreciate it. He says one of my favorite Robin Williams movies was The World According to Garp. Too bad it wasn't mentioned nor on the list. Well, we're talking about it now based on John Irving's bestseller. I didn't read the book, but I saw the movie and thought it was great. And it was one of those early movies where you just realize, oh, this man is more than Mork from Ork. He has greater talent. As manic and as crazy and as fun as Mork from Ork is, Robin Williams is so much more than that and so capable in his performance of really drawing this 3-dimensional character that makes you feel along with him the things that whatever the character is experiencing in the movie. And World According to Garp was a good one. I even liked Flubber. I even liked the Disney Flubber movies. And
I never saw that one.
Kind of a low end, but yeah. And Tom McCluskey points out The Birdcage, another good one with, I think was it Nathan Lane that was in that one with him? I believe so. Yeah. I've only seen that one once. Been a while. All right. So you mentioned the movies to you would have included in that list. I think we've gone through most of them. I'm trying to see if there's any others that have been mentioned here. Oh, Emily Miller mentions Toys and Jack. Oh, and The Best of Times with Kurt Russell. Let's see. Scarlet Red Magic says The Hook was her favorite. Let's see. Anything else? There were more. I know that. Terrell talks about Popeye, both a critical and commercial flop. Yeah, I remember. But I got that soundtrack for Christmas that year and loved it. Oh, here's another great one. Did you see What Dreams May Come?
Yeah, once. I thought it was a little bizarre, so I don't think I rewatched it. But I saw The World According to Garp a little too early. It was on HBO, and I was up one night and watched it. And I think I was around 8 years old, 9 years
Yeah.
old, and I, I really should not have watched a show like that early. But good show.
Might be hard for you to relate to it though, too. Really,
Yeah.
at that age. What Dreams May Come was based on a Richard Matheson novel or short story, and I agree, very bizarre film, but still, he makes it work in that movie. Makes it work in that movie. I'm trying to see if there's anyone else that's been mentioned.
I didn't know Toys. What was Toys?
Toys was.
I thought that was with Richard Pryor.
No, you're thinking of The Toy.
Oh.
And that was with Richard Pryor and Jackie Gleason.
Yeah.
Whereas he's hired essentially to be a toy, a playmate for a young kid. Toys, I haven't seen that movie, but I believe he was a toy maker in that movie. Oh, and I clicked off that before Spike Spikerson, super fan Spike Spikerson, said I liked him in the Baron von Munchausen movie, which was a Terry Gilliam epic that was pretty darn good. Cindy Pruitt was here, and I didn't even say hello. Well, hello and goodbye, Cindy. Recognize those early morning movies. Early morning movies are tough. Or early morning wake-up calls when you have to get up and go to work. That's what happens when I start talking and reading the chat at the same time. Just can't do it. So John Collins, super fan John Collins, asks this. I'd love your opinion, Ian. Do you think he was a better dramatic actor or a comedic actor?
Wow. Well, asking a difficult question there. I mean, really, that's like choosing, like, who's your favorite kid? You know, I mean, it's that he was so brilliant at everything that I can't choose. I can't choose. I think he was equally as good at both. I mean, when he was doing like the Fisher King, very impressive, and then when he's doing Jumanji or Patch Adams, just I'm blown. It's a 10 for both. It's not like well, I'm choosing between two low numbers. It's a 10 for both. So
yeah, I have to say the same thing. It's like that's one of those questions where he was so good at both of them that I can't pick. I simply can't pick. Danny Staten says he wants to talk about Insomnia, where Robin Williams plays a serial killer. Saw it once. He was so good and yet so disturbing in it. I was one of those where I'm like, okay, I'm glad I watched it, and now I'm done with that one.
That was one of them I missed. I missed that one. I missed the one where he kind of plays a robot who learns to love or something. I don't know.
Bicentennial Man.
Yeah, I didn't get to see that one either. I just haven't watched it.
RV was another one he was in, speaking of later comedies. 1 Hour Photo was another one that I think a lot of folks liked it. Again, dramatic work where he's a little off-center, his character. And that was another one and done for me. But I was glad I saw it. In every case, I was glad that I saw the movie and saw his performance. All right. Let's keep moving because we've got a lot to cover still, which is we've got a little bit of fun to be had here, and we're going to play a game called Can You Guess the Star, Ian? So,
oh no,
there was a preview of this last week, and as a matter of fact, if you remember that picture and that character, that actor, he may show up again this evening. So you may have, there's a chance those that hit last week's live stream, they have at least that one and more, because the first one's like a free, the in bingo, that free spot in the middle. The first one should be a free spot in the middle. So it's not this picture here. We'll get to that one in a minute. Don't answer, folks. Don't answer yet because we are not there yet. Here is the very first picture. And like I said, I think it's akin to the free spot in the middle of bingo.
No, yeah.
Yeah, don't say anything yet. Let's just kind of let it seep on in. This young man, these pictures, by the way, are high school yearbook photos. They are all high school yearbook photos. And this dapper young man turned out to be a fairly decent actor of both the comedic and dramatic variety. Al Oduardi's not even waiting. He's like, I'm so certain that I know who this one is. I'm one of one. One of one.
One of one. Right on.
And what's the answer, Ian?
Mork from Mork.
Yeah.
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams, indeed. Indeed.
Yes.
Yep, Emily, it is Robin. Very first one is Robin. All right. We'll ask for scores maybe after the third one. We'll just keep going. So there's our answer. Number 2. This one gets a little more difficult. A little more difficult. And we're going to just let folks, I'll throw out a hint here in just a minute. But before we do that, these can be, by the way, not just actors, but musicians, supermodels, primarily actors, but I would throw musician and supermodel into the categories as well. If you think you know who it is and that person isn't necessarily a actor or actress, then it may be one or the other, maybe a musician or a supermodel. This is gonna be a tough one. I see a lot of good guesses. I see Sally Field, I see Pam Dauber, I see Angie Dickinson, I see Terry Garr. Oh, Al Oduardi. He's not saying 2 of 2. He is not saying 2 of 2. He recognizes, he says, can I phone one of you for a lifeline? Jennifer Jason Leigh, Candace Bergen, Barbara Streisand. That's a good guess, but look at the nose. That can't be Barbara Streisand. Pam Dauber, Jan Smithers. That's a good guess. Horace Leachman, another good guess. Here is the lifeline. Let me see if I can help folks out. Supermodel from the 70s.
Was she also in a TV show?
She was not. Ian.
Oh, okay. All right.
Tracy Roth Myers does not know. And I suspect, Tracy, that you are not alone. Yeah. Bonnie Franklin, that's a good guess. Where's the end guy? What's the end guy? I don't know what we're talking about there, superfan Emily Miller. Where was Bonnie Franklin? That was Tracy's guess. Okay. Spike Spikerson says Cindy something. He's just throwing a name out there. Cindy something. No, it's not a Cindy something. Oh, holy cow. I see the correct answer. And I think the first person to correctly answer was our friend Tracy Roth Myers.
Oh.
Cheryl Tiegs. Yep. Huge, like 77-ish, I think, was probably when she became a huge Sports Illustrated supermodel. A little bit before your time, Ian. Truthfully.
Yeah.
Tough one for you. There, Brinkley was another good guess. Those folks that went with Christy Brinkley, I thought that was a good guess as well. All right, let's do one more before I check scores. Okay, folks, who could it be? It's not Christy Brinkley, so we'll take that off. There we go. Let's see how we do. Not Christy Brinkley. This is a feller, again, maybe isn't an actor or actress, but this is a high school photo of someone who is an actor, a musician, or a male model, apparently. Could be a male model of some sort. I might stick with actor and musician. Going back to Cheryl Tiegs, let's see. We got, she had that famous poster. Yes, she did have that famous poster. Chris Budarocco said, love the SI cover. Oh, yeah, that was a memorable SI cover for sure. Here's some good guesses. Spike Spikerson says, is that Peter Tork from the Monkees? I will tell you right now, it is not. James Mitchell, super fan James Mitchell, says, I don't know, David Carradine?
No.
And Tracy Roth Myers says, what about, you can't see the height there, so maybe it is Tiny Tim. I don't know. Oh, here's a good guess. Custom God says Roger Daltrey. Now, super fan John Collins is saying Gomer Pyle. Nope, it's not Jim Neighbors. And superfan Emily Miller is saying that everybody's saying Springsteen, but you have no idea. So are you answering Springsteen as well? Because if you were, you would be correct. It is the boss, Bruce Springsteen. So lots of
I
folks
can see it. I can see it. I had a couple of other people that I thought it might have been, but I was totally off. I thought it was the other. Who's that guy that was on Mork and Mindy who played Mork's friend, like the crazy guy who?
Jay something or other, right?
Yeah, it kind of looks like him.
Yeah, I
too.
can
You
see
know that.
Yeah.
I thought maybe Ron Keel as well. Not Ron. Is it Ron or? Yeah, the guy who was the big tall guy. He died recently.
Yeah, Richard Keel.
Richard Keel, yes.
Yeah.
Not Ron Keel. That's a heavy metal guy.
Right. All right, let's see some scores. Al Oduarte's 2 of 3. Another guy in Tennessee's 3 of 3. Emily Miller, super fan Emily Miller's 3 of 3. Mr. 79 Man 2 for 3. Daryl Johnston's 2 of 3. George's 1 of 3. Terrell is 2 of 3. Paul Rotter's 1 of 3. Lance is 2 of 3. Oh, what do we got here? Lamont is 1 of 3. Cindy D's 2 for 3. Tracy Ross Myers is 2 for 3. John Collins, super fan. John Collins is 1 of 3. Zend Wayne is 2 of 3. Good guess. Lance Chafin. It's not Richard Donner though. Bruce Springsteen. Let's see. Who else do we have here? Tom McCluskey's 2 of 3. Emily's 1 of 3. Ken Wilkinson is 0 of 3. Mr. Led's is 2 of 3. I think this is where I was, right? Georgia with 1 of 3. Rome Ticklin's 1 of 3, and Tom McCluskey's 2 of 3. I might have repeated myself there. Let's keep moving. We got more pictures to look at. All right. There's the next one. Actress, musician, or supermodel from the 70s. Yes, TJ 921 Abel, this has been a bit tricky tonight, hasn't it? You know where I found these pictures, Ian?
No, where?
Dynamite Magazine.
Oh, really?
Are you familiar with Dynamite Magazine?
I'm familiar with it. I don't know if I ever had a copy of one, but I know what it was.
Man. I love Dynamite Magazine. It was, school would pass out those flyers with books and things you could order, and Dynamite was one of the things you could order in there. And I would always order Dynamite because it always had a great photo or had a great poster or some trading cards. And it was kind of like, it was kind of how before the internet you could keep track of what was popular in pop culture.
Yeah. Those magazines really helped with that. They were the internet at the time.
They were absolutely. Superfan John Collins. Wait, before we go to Superfan John Collins, let me skip down to Superfan Spike. Spikerson says, the Hot Partridge Family sister? You're talking about Susan Day.
Uh-huh.
I don't think she would mind being called hot, but it's not. John Collins, superfan John Collins, is saying, I'm going to need you to give me at least one clue on each person. Being that you are a super fan, I must obey. But here's the clue. We've talked about this person already tonight. We have talked about this person already tonight during the course of our conversation.
Oh, I might know who it would be then, but I don't know the name, but I know who it would be. I think.
Who do you think it is?
It wasn't my first guess. My first guess was Penny Marshall. But I'm going to say the girl who played the Cunningham wife on Happy Days.
Good friend.
No.
Yeah, that was Richie Cunningham's wife.
Oh, yeah, I know. But
are you talking about Maureen Ross? Or Marion Ross, who played Marion Cunningham, like Howard, Richie's mom?
No, not Richie's mom. Richie's wife.
That would be Linda Goodfriend who played it.
Okay.
Well, you should have stuck with your first guess.
Penny Marshall
is the correct answer.
Well, did we talk about her? I don't remember.
I mentioned that Penny was the director of Awakening.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, okay. All right. But as soon as that, yeah, all right. Well, I should have stuck with Penny Marshall.
You should have stuck with Penny Marshall for sure. There were a few folks that said Pam Dauber. I would have. No, I definitely Marion Ross. There's the Marion Ross one. All right, let's do one more before we see scores here. So Penny Marshall was the correct answer. Here it is. Those folks that were here last week will recognize this one. It is a repeat from last week. Yes, Chris Botarakos, Shamil Shamalzo, Hasselpfeffer Incorporated. We're going to do it. Give us any chance, we'll take it. Give us any rule, we'll break it. We're going to make the dreams come true. Let's see. And the clue that I will give my friend John Collins is the clue that I provided right up front. We had this one last week. He was the bonus question last week. Do you remember who it was, Ian?
Larry Hagman? I don't know.
That is correct. Larry Hagman.
Oh, okay.
You got it. Nicely done, everybody that got Larry Hagman, or as Lamont likes to say, JR or Major Nelson. Lots of folks getting it. Good job. Chris Botarakos wants to know who shot JR. Turns out it was Denise Crosby. Denise Crosby. What was her name on the show? Was it Mary? I can't remember what her name was on the show. What was her name? Oh, no.
I don't know.
It was Mary Crosby. Wow, boy, I'm drawing a blank on.
Never saw a single episode of Dallas.
It was Bing's daughter. And Denise Crosby was Tasha Yar in Star Trek. That's wrong. It was Mary Crosby, and I can't remember the name of the character that she played on Dallas who shot JR, but there you go. Hey, Mike Bertner throwing a super chat my way. I feel the same exact way, Mike. Appreciate the support. Thank you so much. Very, very kind. And just truly appreciated. Thank you. Let's see. So let's see some scores. Folks, throw your scores out there for me to see. I see Tyrell is 4 for 5. Al Oduwardi, 3 for 5. Another guy in Tennessee is 5 of 5. He's rocking it tonight. Rocking it. And so is Tracy. 4 for 5 is a great score. Who else do we got here? Lamont is 2 for 5. Mr. Ledge, 3 for 5. Abracocus came in late, 3 for 3. Good job. Paul Rodders, 3 of 5. Mary Crosby is who it was, but what was her name on this show, folks? Help me out. What was Mary Crosby's name on the show? Larry Moore's 3 of 5. Mr. 79 Man's 3 of 5. Lance Chafin is 4 of 5. Paul Rodders, 3 of 4. I'm looking. Was it Kristen Shepard? Was her name Kristen? That sounds right. Okay, and she was Sue Ellen's sister. All right, Emily Miller's super fan. Emily Miller is 3 of 5. Daryl Johnston's 4 of 5. Tom McCluskey's 3 of 5. James Mitchell, super fan. James Mitchell's 3 of 5. Rome Ticklin's 3 of 5. Jimmy C. Markleman, hey, how's it going? Good night. Have you been here a while? Chris Mason, also welcome. In -2, but still good to have you here. You know what? All scores are cherished, embraced, and respected. So don't feel bad. Custom Gods 2 of 5. Spike Spikerson got 1 right. Cindy D says, I said it, Dave. You're not looking today. Kristen Shepard. It's so hard to keep track of everything on the chat and click all the right button on the live stream. I know you don't want to hear my sad tell of woe, but there we go. Zen Wayne says it too. Mary Crosby played Sue Ellen's sister, Kristen, 4 of 5. Good night, everyone. From Josh Sings, good night. Scarlet Red Magic is 3 of 5. Cindy D is 4 for 5. And let's keep moving on. George is 3 of 5. John Collins is 2 of 5. Chris Mason says, come on, man, next. Let's get going. Here we go. Number 6.
He wants to get another negative. He wants to get down there further.
Well, here you go. Here's me, another one. A tough one.
No.
Could be a movie star. Could be a musician. Could be a model of some sort. Hey, Sonia Ritchie's here. Just got here. Hello, what's going on? we're playing a game, Sonia, which is I'm showing you high school yearbook photos, and you are guessing who that person might be. And I throw up some of the guesses here, sometimes to mislead, sometimes to show the correct answer. I'm seeing, let's see, what am I seeing here? I'm seeing James Mitchell. Super fan James Mitchell says that could be Marlon Brando. And Tom McCluskey agrees it could be Marlon Brando. What do you think, Ian? Is that Marlon Brando?
No.
Who is that?
Well, I'll give a hint.
Give a hint.
He was in My Name is Earl. If I'm thinking of the right guy.
I don't know if you are.
He
or not,
played.
I don't
He
remember.
played.
My Name is Earl.
He played Norm Macdonald's dad.
Did he? I don't. Maybe I just didn't watch that long into that show. He was in Evening Shade.
I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong about who it is, but I think it's Burt Reynolds.
It is Burt Reynolds. Yep.
Oh.
Burt Reynolds is the correct answer. I didn't know he was in My Name is Earl. I only watched the early seasons on that show and missed it. So, yeah, he was. We're talking about the Bandit right here. Bandit, the man who let Sally Field get away. Didn't let Lonnie Anderson get away, much to his chagrin. Yeah, Spike, stop drinking during trivia. Come on, man. Come on. Let's see.
If you're not gonna, when's a good time to drink? If you're not gonna drink during trivia, that's a great time.
All depends on what you drink, man. This keeps me sharp. All right. Daryl Johnson says he didn't change at all, and that's true. Boy, that face just looks just like Burt Reynolds, with that minus the mustache, of course. Number 7. Here we go. I use this on my title screen, so some of you already threw a guess out. But again, here we go. We've got an actress or a supermodel or a musician. Who could it be? High school yearbook photo. This person was in a very popular television program during the 70s. But then again, she was also in a very popular television program during the 60s. Went on to have significant fame also in motion pictures, but in particular starring with Robert Redford in one movie that really comes to mind that was won a number of Academy Awards during, I don't know if it was 1980 or 79, right around that time frame. Let's see if we got some answers here. Oh, someone said that's a good guess. Chris Mason says Carol Burnett. Not sure what MTM stands for. Yeah, but Emily Miller, superfan Emily Miller says it's MTM. Mike Bertner says it's MTM. Dolph Quick says he's doing terrible, bringing great shame to his family. No one is bringing great shame to their family, Dolph. Let's see. Diet Coke, yes, the beverage of choice. And let's see what we got here. So the correct answer is, of course, Mary Tyler.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's the MTM they're all talking about.
MTM. I didn't know who it was. Yep. I was lost.
It's Mayor
now.
Or Laura Petrie, depending on which show. All right, number 8. Oh, this one's difficult. This one is difficult. Actor, musician, or supermodel, or model in the case of. Were there any male supermodels? I can't really think of if there was any male supermodels.
I don't know.
I didn't pay much attention. Was Fabio a male supermodel? He kind of.
I think later in the 90s, I think that started to be a thing to be a male supermodel. I think that there was a. I think that if there was a male model, he was just kind of there. He was just, it wasn't really a supermodel. Fabio, though, 90s, I think.
Yep. Someone's a David Lynch fan. There we go. Super fan Emily Miller says, looks like a Eraserhead. And John Collins is saying, you know what? It's Fabio. No. Spike Spikerson's saying Bob Dylan, Al Pacino, or Dustin Hoffman. You have to pick, buddy. I'm not going to tell you the answer. Lance Chafin says, we skipped over Lance. Lance says, Meet the Fockers. So I don't think he was in Meet the Fockers. Let's see. Oh, wait, here's something. Cindy D says, love Tootsie. What's that got to do with this picture at all? That's crazy. Come on, Cindy D. What's going on?
Really?
What do you mean?
Really?
What?
Because okay, yeah. I mean, I know who I'm going with, and there's all kinds of.
Are you going with G-Boy 70? Is it G-Boy? G-Boy 1973. Are you going with that?
I am. I'm going with. That's who I thought it was.
Let's see. Let me click on. Yes, indeed. You thought correctly. Nicely done. And boy, there were many, many great movies with Hoffman in it. I loved Rain Man, but for me, the movie that I will always love, probably above all others, excuse me, was The Graduate. I just thought that was a great movie.
Oh,
with
yeah.
the Simon and Garfunkel music. It's just a wonderful.
That soundtrack is incredible.
Yep. Early appearance by Richard Dreyfuss in that movie too, by the way. Just one quick scene. His head pops around the corner in a doorway. All right. We should know. Let's see scores. Anybody want to throw their scores out? I'm seeing lots of scores here. Let's do this. 6 of 8 for Mr. 79 Man. Terrell 7 of 8. Tracy 6 of 8. Rome Tickland 6 of 8. Lance is 7 of 8. Yeah, that's what they wanted to get into in The Graduate was plastics. There's a future in plastics, my friend. Paul Rotter 6 of 8. Superfan Emily Miller 6 of 8. Zen Dwayne is 7 of 8. Mr. Led is 6 of 8. Lamont Bradford is 5 of 8. Brackhocus. I'm really struggling with that one. Is 6 of 8. Daryl Johnson 6 of 8. Spike Spikerson said, I thought that at first, Tom McCluskey. I don't know what that's about. Got to go back and read the chat later on. Lance Chafin 7 of 8. Cindy D is 7 for 8. Spike Spikerson's 2 of 8. TJ 921. Abel is 5 of 8. Not sure. Look at this. Another guy, Tennessee, is 8 of 8. Rocking it. Superfan John Collins is 2 of 8. Mike Bertner is giving it 4 Shazbots out of 5. Love that. Scarlet Red Magic is 7 of 8. And Tom McCluskey 6 of 8. Here we go. Number 9. I'm going to help everybody out on this one. I'm going to give you the phone a friend right now. Musician.
Oh, okay. I think I know.
Musician. He writes the songs.
Well, that didn't give it away. It's obviously Alice Cooper.
Obviously, Alice Cooper. There's some other guesses. Here's some interesting ones. We got Zappa.
Oh, I could see that.
We got Paul Simon from Superfan John Collins. We got Art Garfunkel from Tracy Roth Myers. This is a really good guess. It's not it, but Mr. 79 Man said if he was an actor, I can see that being John Turturro. Lance Chafin says Billy Joel. But the correct answer, well, Elf Dog 100 got it, among others, was Barry Manilow. Great songs, great musician, love. One of my first albums, probably around album number 4 or 5, was Barry Manilow's Even Now album, which, if I remember correctly, did have Copacabana in it. Great song. Great song, as was Even Now. Good song. All right. Vincent Furnier. I believe that's Alice's real name, isn't it? Okay. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and do the last one, and then we'll get final scores here. Barry Manilow is the correct answer. Here it is. Number 10. Oh, look at this. Al Duarte says, like Star Trek, he is 7 of 9. And that, my friends, is the hint as well. Yeah. Thank you, Al Duarte, for the hint for our last yearbook photo. So, Ian.
Yes, sir.
What are you watching on TV right now?
I am kind of slowly working through a couple of things. We watch Bull right now, kind of
great show.
In and out regularly. Um, Rules of Engagement, David Spade. I keep going back to that one over and over again. House. We watch House. House gets a little tropey though. Everybody says he's wrong, and guess what? He turns out to be right. That's that. But we like those medical mystery shows as well. I'm always watching Family Ties. I mean, I just
That's your go-to, isn't it? When you just want to relax and feel good.
Yeah, that one and Friends are the two, and then The Office as well. But The Office is kind of, I'm not catching that as often as I did at one time. But Family Ties and Friends, kind of I go through those regularly. And Rules of Engagement, though, a little later, but I love that show. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah. Speaking of go-to TV shows, mine are Andy Griffith, Batman, Family Affair. I've added Family Affair lately. I've been watching that a lot. But the third one, when people normally ask me, I say Andy Griffith, Batman, and Star Trek. And of course, this young man right here, many of you have correctly divined, is the man who infamously shouted, "Con!"
Yeah.
And the Shatner, yes, the Shatner, William Shatner, who I talked a little bit about in my latest video that I did on Pamela Lynn Ferdin.
Yep.
She had a huge crush on Bill Shatner, so much so that she was following him around while they were filming the episode in The Children Shall Lead. And Shatner finally decided, you know what? I'm just going to propose to her. And so he proposed to little 11-year-old Pamela Lynn and gave her, I think she said it was like some sort of cigarette or cigar ring kind of thing. And put it on her finger, and he asked her to pick the date for their pending engagement. And she picked the first day of summer so that she could have all summer with William Shatner. Now, I don't believe that there was a follow-through there. I hope there wasn't actually, but it was very, very nice of him. We hear a lot of crazy stories about Shatner, and some of them are probably true. Some of them probably aren't. But that one is one that we heard directly from Pamela Lynn, and it's an example of him being a great guy. So
yeah, very sweet.
Yep, for sure. So the correct answer was
David Hasselhoff.
That was a good guess, actually. A little old, I think, for the Hoff, but I can see it. They have similarities in appearances, Hoff and Shatner, I think, in terms of just their physical appearance. All right, let's see some final scores, folks. I want to see how everybody did. Paul Rotter was 8 of 10. TJ 921 Abel was, it was 6 of 10, he believes. Rescue 911, not sure. Oh yeah, Shatner was in that. And Emily says Bill was a very attractive young man. He's a very attractive, very strong, stoic man that definitely was well suited to play Captain James Tiberius Kirk. Rome Ticklin was 8 of 10. Great Twilight Zone episodes for sure. How about some more scores, folks? Ken was 1 out of 10. Lamont was 7 of 10. Zenwayne 9 of 10. Terrell was 8 of 10 this evening. Georgia 8 of 10. Al Oduardi says my top 3 are in his top 5. Awesome. We have good taste. We have great taste, Alfred. Cindy D was 9 for 10. Final score for Mike was 7 dilithium crystals out of 10. Love that. 10 of 10. Another guy in Tennessee got 10 of 10. Good job. Now, Tom says, here's the other side. Met Shatner, total jerk. So I think it almost depends on the day you meet the feller.
I think that's, I've heard that from a lot of people who've met him both. Like it really depends upon the day that you meet him.
Which isn't a good thing, right?
Yeah. I could get it. I could get it though. I mean, I understand if you were that popular, people are always coming up to you or something like that. But I don't know the circumstances in which you met him. I know George Takei doesn't like him very much at all.
He does not.
George Takei don't get along.
Yeah. I think George just always felt like he never got the respect from Shatner that as a colleague and a coworker, he kind of wanted. And Shatner,
well, he's a big personality.
Yeah.
You know, he's a very big personality. He's, you know, he enters in the room and the room's about him, and I can see how that can rub people the wrong way for sure.
And actually, George Takei doesn't have a small personality. Oh my.
No.
He sure doesn't have a small personality. But I can see where Shatner, where maybe, and that's it. They kind of conflicted.
Well, you get two people with big personalities like that who kind of want to steal the show. And you just like, boom, man, it's butt heads.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we've got some help with the pronunciation here. Abracahocus. Okay, Abracahocus is not got 8 of 10. Mr. Led 7 of 10. Beam me up, Scotty 9 of 10 for our friend Lance. 3 right for Spike. You know, but he had a nice time, had a drink or two, and just settled on in for a great evening. He's a super fan. So you know what? Super fans get to add 5 points on to their score. So you're 8 of 10, Spike. Good job. Rome Ticklin's 8 of 10. Daryl Johnson, 7 of 10. Again, John, you're going to add 5 to your score for super fan privileges. That takes you to 7 of 10. So you did pretty darn good. Glad you enjoyed both channels. I know Ian appreciates that very much, as do I. And I certainly appreciate your support in oh so many ways, John. Emily, another super fan, 6 of 10. Thank you for your support, Emily. Zen Dwayne, 9 of 10. George Ayers, 8 of 10. Another guy in Tennessee, yeah, 10 of 10. And Mark, my friend down in Pleasant Grove, good to have you join us, even if it's a little bit late. Always a pleasure to see you in the chat. Thomas McCluskey got 6 of 10. That's a hungry jerk for those of you who know him well. Kiddigo, 1992, 4 of 9. Thanks for joining us this evening. Nick Mamona, 7 of 10. Dolph Quick, 6 of 10. Lance Chafin, 9 of 10. Oh, boy, the chat moved on me. Al Duarte, 8 of 10. Larry Moore, 8 of 10. Mr. Led, 8 of 11. Got MTM twice. Well, there you go. Bonus points for getting her at the beginning and again at the end. Georgia Ayers got 8 of 10. And do we have any more scores? I think that might be it. Who turned 90 in March? Larry Moore, 90 in March. Holy cow. Great to have you with us, my friend. Yeah, George Takei seems super nice. Big personality, but holy cow, what a great actor. And what he went through as a young man in like the internment camps and everything that he has experienced in his life, I truly have a lot of respect for him. Daily Dan, our friend Danny Staten only missed 1. Good job. Let's see, what's this No Fair Dave stuff? No Fair. I saw something about No Fair Dave, Cindy D. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if you're talking about the bonus 5 points for super fans, but that's just the way I roll with my super fans. I'm sorry about that. Mike Bertner says, best Wednesday night programming ever. Thank you so much for the kind words, Mike. I really appreciate it. I truly do. Couldn't have it, by the way, this great programming without the help of my dear friend Ian here. So we'll go back to Ian in just a second. I want to answer John's question. Yes, I do believe there will be a live stream on Saturday. Going to be looking at a magazine. I think we might be looking at that Famous Westerns magazine that I posted in the community section. Unless I come across something more interesting between now and then. But yeah, we'll just have a slow, easy, meandering live stream. No trivia, nothing but kind of perusing a magazine and talking about it on Saturday. That is it. Oh, no. Emily Miller is saying, super fan Emily Miller is saying that Shatner turned 90 in March. That's correct. I remember reading that as well. And Emily Miller also says, super fan Emily Miller says that 42 is always the right answer. Is that the correct answer in is that Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy where 42 is the right answer to the
meaning of life
and everything?
Yeah. Meaning of, yeah.
42. Yes, John, it will be on this channel. Mr. Led, yeah, we will definitely tell Pat and Stephen that they were missed tonight. Pat was, he is in San Francisco traveling with his wife, enjoying a little bit of just some R&R. I think he's going to hit a couple of baseball games. And Stephen, well, he's got a couple of young girls that were taking up his time, his daughters, this evening that he needed to care for. So, and apparently he was busy working on a new video that I need to go watch after the live stream tonight. So yeah, those folks that want to head on over to his channel, it's Stephen Sundstrom, Stephen with a PH. And he's got a new video out there about why Pam Anderson left Home Improvement. I don't know where Thrash Pondo is tonight.
I don't know.
Yeah, normally he's a fixture on the chat, and he was definitely missed. Hey, Terrell says we need to check out Morgan Richter's channel, in which she reviews popular 80s movies that help define Gen X and every single Miami Vice episode ever. So, wow, I'll definitely check it out. Thank you so much for the tip, Terrell. Hey, Ian, talk to us about your channel. I know you did a little bit up front, but I know there are a lot of folks that joined since that time, and I definitely wanted to get folks over to your channel. Clicking on that's the subscribe button.
Yeah, it means the world to me if you would subscribe. If you like pop culture and underground culture growing up 70s, 80s, and 90s, basically Generation X, you'll love the channel. I talk about movies and music and the television shows and basically the arts and entertainment. And I do 3 kinds of videos over there. I do the specifically for YouTube, the shorter 10-minute, 5 to 10-minute videos where I'll take a subject. Just did one on 3 children's movies that maybe children shouldn't have watched. But I also do longer interviews where we talk about like music and stuff like that for podcasts. And I'm doing live streams as well. We just did a live stream on bad shows that that were bad, but we loved them. And actually, tomorrow night I'm not going to be there tomorrow. We gotta reschedule again for some personal stuff with what we're going through here. So I have to reschedule, hopefully for Monday. Monday seems to be the night we're doing it. But again, it really means the world to me if people would go on over and subscribe. And it's free. And also, I do want to provide really good entertainment for people as well.
Well, it certainly is that. I have a hoot. I really enjoy have a hoot. It's sometimes the things I say, but that's what happens on a live stream. I totally understand Robin Williams getting up there and just coming up and repeating something you heard from someone else going blank. Yeah. But you know what? I really enjoy both your long form and your short form content, Ian. You have great conversations. You do a good job of bringing on folks that, have interests similar to mine. So I always appreciate it.
Oh, you've been on there now 3 times. So we're going to get you back on here pretty soon. I want to give you.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Saturday morning cartoons.
We can always talk about Saturday morning cartoons. We can do volumes 2, 3, 4, and 5 on that one.
Okay.
Hey, so thank you so much, Ian. And let me just say thank you to everyone here as well. You know what? I missed the opportunity. I think I said thanks to all of my super fans that were in the chat this evening, and to those folks that supported me via super chat. Truly appreciate it. I also wanted to say thank you to those folks that became super fans over the course of the last week. So, and that you can do that simply by clicking on the join button below any of my videos. And those members are Tom Gladstone, Greg McLaughlin, and Bees Nietzsche. I didn't see any of them in the chat this evening, but hopefully they may catch this in replay format later on. And I want to express just verbally my appreciation for them. Yeah, I see Terrell. I haven't been over to Twitter yet today, but I will take a look at your suggestions. Emily, yeah, have a great night. You say it well. You say way more succinctly than me, but I do want everyone to have a great night. And I do want to leave everybody with this thought, if I could. It's a quote from our friend Robin Williams. And tonight, I want everybody to think about this, because you know what? Robin left us in a rough way. And he was suffering from Lewy body syndrome, which my mother passed away from. So I understand what some of that torment and that battle was like for him. But he said this early on, and it's true. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle that you know nothing about. So be kind always. That's the thought I'd like to leave everybody with this evening. And I look forward to visiting with you all another night about my favorite things, music, movies, mostly television from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Good night, everybody. Hey, thanks again, Ian.
Thank you for having me, Dave. Good night, everybody.